All right, just gonna wait for people to hop in here. We got one person right now, two people. All right, we'll keep going. What's up, Katie, Haran, Art? Thanks for joining. Real Rough A, Bridget Jennings. Hey, everyone. We'll just let people come in, you know, just breathe in, breathe out. All right. What's up, Real Rough A? Hi to you too. What's up, Bridget? Okay. Keep coming. Where are people from? Just type in, you know, what state, what country, where are you from? Don't San Diego. All right, cool, Real. Miami. Oh, we got a little bit of West Coast, East Coast. Austin, Michigan. All right, cool. Brooklyn in the house. Right on. Cool. All right. Cool. So, I blasted out I followed 8,000 people today. I hit Periscope's limit. I found out that the limit is actually 8,000 followers that you can have. You can't get any more. So I'm wondering whether or not people found out through, you know, hashtag tech or how people, you know, found out about this this broadcast. Any feedback would be wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna keep waiting for a little bit. We got we got 11. We got 12 people. We got 11. Let's see if we can keep going here. Okay. All right. I think we'll get started. Oh, cool. All right, Bridget. I just found you somewhere. Okay, so just a little bit about me. My name is Mike Lynn. I'm the founder of at Influencers. I've worked at a couple different companies through my career. I started off working for worked for myself back in '96. I started freelancing, and then ended up working for a company called Creative Inner Design in Pasadena. Worked there for 6 months. Went up to San Francisco. I thought I was going to get a degree in marketing. Did a semester there, and then ended up deciding that it was probably better for me to just learn by doing. So I ended up finding a job with this company called Adjacency. They're a really small boutique company. They're originally from Wisconsin Street. They did work for companies like Powerbar, Land Rover. Pretty cool stuff. And then from there, you know, I we got acquired by a company called Sapient in 1999. We were about 57 people. Were acquired for 50 million. And then after that, you know, got laid off. You know, I was there for about 4 years. Got laid off in 2002 after the bubble. Bubble was kind of an interesting time. Lots of craziness. Does anyone remember Cosmo.com? You hit one if you did, or just, you know, type a message if you remember Cosmo.com. They're kind of like a service that was like a real time where you could like order like Ben and Jerry's for a fee, and they just deliver it to you like like immediately. So those are some pretty interesting times. So after I got laid off, I ended up going to Yahoo. I had a buddy of mine that I got laid off in an earlier round. So I was there and worked on Yahoo Shopping and Yahoo Travel. I was a visual designer there. That was pretty cool. During the time that I was there, Terry Simmel was the CEO, and then as part of the VP of the group that I was in was Jeff Winter, who would later be the interim president / CEO of LinkedIn. So that was pretty cool. And while I was there, Yahoo had actually acquired a company called Flickr, which is a photo sharing app, which was actually like one of the most innovative like social media applications at the time. This is before the any type of like smartphone. So that was it was all web based. It was kind of like one of the coolest things to hit the internet at the time. And then they also acquired this company called Delicious, which was a social bookmarking company. So I was at Yahoo for about 4 years and 4 months, and then started looking around. I was looking at LinkedIn. I joined pretty early on. I think I joined maybe LinkedIn 5 months after they had started, and so I'd initially sent a job request through the website. and I actually didn't hear back. So I went on the site and just looked for the hiring manager. And then I found him, and he actually had enabled the ability to email him directly. So I did. His name was Chisvada, and he actually was the designer of the LinkedIn logo. And he emailed me directly, and so interviewed at LinkedIn. My last interview was actually with Reid Hoffman, who's the founder of LinkedIn, on a Saturday at Barnes and Noble in San Francisco. His meeting after mine was with Sean Fanning of Napster, if anyone's familiar with Napster. So that was kind of fun. Reid, it's true. Reid does work 7 days a week. He doesn't stop. So that was pretty cool. So I was at when I was at LinkedIn, I was employee number 43. I was the second UI designer. The funny story is the designer that hired me in 1 month later decided he was going to leave. He originally was going to go to Yahoo, which is where I had come from, which I thought was rather interesting and funny. But luckily enough, he changed his mind, rescinded his offer, and went to go work for a company called YouTube. YouTube actually had taken up some office spaces at LinkedIn when we were in the Palo Alto office, which was formerly the PayPal offices, which is where Reid Hoffman used to work at. So it's kind of funny that it kind of ended up full circle that they ended up in the same offices that they had previously been in. So I worked on a couple of different things while I was at LinkedIn. I worked on putting profile photos on on profiles. When I started, there wasn't any photos. It was one of those things where we thought that the site was professional, we didn't need photos, and only later on did they decide that they wanted to add photos. So that was a pretty fun project when we launched that. We actually we took a photo. It's if you go to I think it's ourstory.linkedin.com. If you look at 2007, you can take a look at the set of photos, and we're there of us. And let's see. I worked on the warm registration flow. It's basically the flow where you if you're invited by someone, you come in and you accept the invitation. And what else did I work on there? I worked on the home page. I worked on the settings page. Right next to me sat Adam Nash, who's the VP of Product Management, and in front of me was Elliot Schmuckler, who was a senior product manager. They Adam and Elliot both ended up going to Wealthfront. Adam at the time was a huge fan of a Zynga game called Farmville. He had actually written some posts about the personal economics of Farmville. So, one heart. Yeah, tap the screen. Keep the hearts coming. Keep the love coming. Loving it. So Adam actually, he was a huge like Farmville addict, and so, I pretty much like I was at LinkedIn for about 4 years, 4 months. Well, okay. Funny story enough is there was a tradition that started my very first week at LinkedIn. We went out to lunch for Arby's, and this is a tradition that continued for every single hire in the user experience and design team. This is all the designers and web developers that were hired on. This is for this lasted until I departed 4 years, 4 months later. So I must have gone to Arby's over 30 times. I think Steve Johnson, who's the VP of design at LinkedIn, he got kind of sick of he got sick of the Arby's. I think he's kind of happy. They replaced the tradition with something called the Wheel of Lunch. So that was kind of cool. And then after LinkedIn, I ended up going to Zynga, which partially was because about 33% of the reason was because Adam was such a huge player. What's up, W. Taylor? Adam was such a huge player, and then at the time, Zynga was a 15-minute walk from my house. I was commuting down to is that Whitney? Hey, what's up, Whitney? I was commuting down to LinkedIn. It was like an hour commute, so I was like, okay, forget it. I'm about to like be totally vested in my stock. I'm just gonna totally just just commute, have a shorter commute, and just walk to work. And then at the time, like, Zynga was hot. The Atlantic at the time actually had named them number 2 in terms of like the world's number 1 startups. I mean, number 1 was Facebook. So Zynga was pretty much on fire. This is pre-IPO. They had like some of the hottest games on Facebook. They had Farmville. Well, when I started, they were developing Cityville, which later turned out to be like a really huge game. The projects that I worked on were I worked on platform products for features for Zynga on Facebook. So I worked on the inbox, which is as the name is, it was just like your inbox for accepting messages. And then I worked on something called the Z-Bar, which was global navigation. That was across the entire site. So that was pretty cool. And I also worked on the Zynga Developers Network. And I was there, for about 2 years, 9 months. Got laid off in June of 2012 with about 25% of the rest of the staff. So that's pretty much the story. After that, I worked for a little bit for a company called Tapjoy. That was kind of insignificant. That was kind of a boring job. I ended up moving to Taiwan in March. Did well enough with LinkedIn, so I'm just kind of coasting for now. Just working on my my project for influencers, and hopefully it'll kind of like grow a little bit bigger and flourish. Career advice. So for all the jobs that I worked at when I got started at Adjacency, they actually had published a book, and I actually, in a forum, I answered correctly what the name of who created the internet. So I was able to pick up the book in person and ask for a job. With Yahoo, I had a buddy of mine, got laid off from an earlier round from Sapient, and he was working there, so I got a referral into there. LinkedIn was kind of a cold referral, although I, did kind of, what's up, Pete Petrus? I did get in there and, had to, find the hiring manager. And then for Zynga, a friend of mine, Ariana Orland, was a contractor. And so she actually, she went in and referred me. So I think, it's really, like when LinkedIn first launched their site in 2003, their tagline was "Relationships Matter." What's up, chum? So, in life, it's really important, who you know, and it's really important to keep connected and let that and let your network flourish. So it's definitely the lessons learned. Things that are inspiring right now. Obviously, Periscope I think is pretty hot. I think it's going to be pretty revolutionary for Twitter. It's social media on steroids. I mean, the ability to live stream is pretty huge. The product is actually not downloadable via the App Store. You have to actually go to the website, periscope.tv, to download it. So I think this is kind of like a little bit of a beta test, a public beta test for them. And what's up, Justin? And yeah. Listening to Best Coast, one of my buddies, Jordan Kurland, who I went to college with. He actually he manages Best Coast. One of the things that I didn't explain. So, influencers is 4 things. It's tech meets design. Actually, tech meets art meets music meets culture. Early on in my career, actually in college, I booked bands. I booked Rage Against the Machine for $325, and I also booked No Doubt before they had their first album. And then straight out of for college, I worked for this event production company called RK Diversified Entertainment Inc. with 2 guys, Ray Woodbury and Kevin Lyman, who went on to create the Vans Warped Tour. So I went out on tour the first year in '95 as a tour manager. Assistant, and then created the website in 1996. Went out on the road, wrote some road journals, took photos, and '97 I also wrote some road journals as well. So I've had a pretty extensive history, working in the music industry for a couple years, so have some pretty deep connections there. Obviously worked in technology for about 20 years. And I have a post. If you go to linkedin.com/in/Mike Lynn, that's linkedin.com/in/Mike Lynn, you'll see that there's a post. There's a very first post that has my art collection. I've been collecting artwork for over 15 years. There's a group of artists that are kind of like known as the Mission School, or the Beautiful Losers. Folks like Barry McGee, Margaret Kilgallen, Joe Soren, Evan Heckox, Thomas Campbell. I've got a pretty extensive collection. Have a lot of pieces by an artist by the name of Tiffany Bozick. So have a lot of deep contacts in the art space. And then the last thing is culture. But just able, as a LinkedIn alum, we actually have a premium subscription, so I'm able to reach out and contact people via that method. So that's pretty much the influences. As Steve Jobs said in his commencement speech at Stanford University in 2005, you can only connect the dots looking back. You can't connect the dots looking forward. So Ad Influencers is just me connecting all my dots looking back, my passions in, working in tech, art, music, and culture. Yeah, that's pretty much the format of influencers. Is we're just trying to get different influencers in different industries to tell their stories. We have a pretty impressive roster. We have some of the people that are kind of like lined up to talk are going to be like Irene Au, who was the head of user experience at Yahoo. She helped grow the group there, and then she later went on to Google and did the same thing. We have Bob Baxley, who's the head of product at Pinterest. We have the co-founder of Kickstarter is going to be talking as well. We have the guy whose company actually brokered the deal, the multi-million-dollar Pepsi deal with Nicki Minaj, and helped put together Lil Wayne's skate park. We have a woman whose company, Silent House, produced the Katy Perry Super Bowl halftime show. In terms of culture, we have Lenny Messina, who is the film editor for Manny, the boxer, as well as the Beautiful Losers movie. And we actually have a buddy of mine that I went to college with, a guy by the name of John Stevens, who's a staff writer for Gotham. He also has written for Gossip Girl and Gilmore Girls. So we've got a lot of really exciting talent. And then, like lots of the artists that I have work by, and a lot of artists that I don't have work by are going to be, giving studio tours. So that'll be pretty cool. So we have, we're just kicking things off tonight. Obviously, I'm a little bit, inspired by LinkedIn. During their first week of launch, they had days where they only grew by about 20 users each, and then, also by Airbnb that, got rejection letters by 7 VCs. So it's, we're just, launching. It's early days. It's gonna take a little while to grow. So, let's kick off some Q&A. Let's see if people have any questions. There's, it's a very intimate conversation here. There's just a few of us here. So just wondering if anyone here has questions. Nobody. All 6 of you. Everyone's dumbfounded. No questions. Oh, now it's 5. Oh, back to 6. Okay, I can keep rambling. Let's see. The other thing that I really talk about in my post is 9 Inch Nails. I've seen that band over 12 times. I went to school in Cleveland where they were, Trent produced his album. He was a janitor and worked at a sound studio, and he engineered the album there. I talk about Adam Nash and his obsession with Lego, and being pretty impactful on the culture at LinkedIn. And I don't know. No questions? Bueller? Taylor? Hey, Diego, you just joined. You have any questions? Questions, anybody? Okay, I'll keep rambling. Let me think of some more stories. I grew up in Toledo, Ohio. I was actually born in Toledo, Ohio. I grew up in Canada for 4 years, and then moved back to Youngstown, Ohio. There was a Business Insider article that named both those cities were on the top 5 most depressing cities list. So I, was batting 2 for 5 growing up. And what else about my life? I went to boarding school in Hudson, Ohio. Had to wear a coat and tie every day. Went through a goth phase, wore black a lot. Spent my junior year of high school in Barcelona, Spain, where I was inspired by art. Learned about like Antoni Gaudí and Pablo Picasso. A lot of really great artists. Yeah, good times. So if there aren't any questions, I'm gonna probably just wrap this up and call it a night. Thanks for tuning into the inaugural broadcast for at Influencers. I'll give you guys about a couple seconds here. If there's no questions, then I'm just gonna sign off and thank you for tuning in. All right, doesn't seem like there's any questions. So see you later, everyone.